This level is named Into the Closet, and this was one of the early concepts we had for a level, because since we have the theme of a child and
Yeah, so I really like the variety that we managed to get into the game. Like every level is...
This chapter also works well as the visuals resembles a broken home or just a chaotic home, which works well with the theme. This chapter also works well as the visuals resembles a broken home or just a chaotic home, which works well with the theme.
So we had a lot of trouble optimizing this level. Everything is constructed in one big scene. So as this level is rather big and confusing by design, we needed kind of a red thread for the player to follow through the level. And this endless drawer, as we call it, works in that fashion, as well as being a bridge that you have to extend in order to reach the deeper parts of the level. So it works both as a guide for the player, but also a blocker. And
there's three specific events happening when you actually break bosses, and it gets more and more kind of tense, scary, and the more and more presence of a monster each chapter.
the endless drawer, which we call it, is also a thing we wanted to do because we think that it fits the theme of something realistic but still being very unrealistic, so it fits the theme of the child's imagination. A drawer that just stretches into like, it seems like it never stops. It goes on forever.
Right here we have like a little secret door. If you found this, it means that you got an achievement, which is cool. Because you can click on this little thing, which is a sort of morbid version of the music box. And you will play a horribly perverted version of the lullaby.
Well, first, I would like us to have populated the small closets everywhere. Now, almost none of the doors are openable, but our vision was to have most of them openable, and inside you would find something that was sort of unique. But of course, that was kind of crazy to begin with, so we didn't.
If you twist the globe for a while, it actually starts playing a little bit of a melody. If you twist the globe for a while, it actually starts playing a little bit of a melody. If you twist the globe for a while, it actually starts playing a little bit of a melody.
This room, I do like it. And as you can see, this is very reminiscent of the room in the intro part of the level. You have the same type of floor with markings on it, and you also have codes everywhere. And this is where code becomes a theme for this level, which is also because of the how the monster is designed. That is just a big code. We wanted the player to go through it and then trigger the codes to suddenly move, to make it feel as if there was something in the room with the player. And this is one of the
We wanted to connect the breaking of bottles to scary atmosphere, and you shouldn't want to break the bottles because then you spawn the monster. So this is where we show that this happens for the first time.
One thing that I think is quite special about the game is how we have kind of resolved the entire game and how events play out through physics. Well, at least most of it. So where it would probably had been easier just animating stuff and have a predictive behavior, we instead work with physics for the entire game and how the player moves, from how the player moves to how apples roll to how doors open. There are some animations, of course, but there's a lot of the game is built a lot on top of physics. One thing that I think is quite special about the game is how we have kind of resolved the entire game and how events play out through physics. Well, at least most of it. So where it
This is the game's hub room in a way, like the same as the painting area in the level 3. This is sort of
So you immediately know what to do and how to get.
When the player drops back into this room, I think for a while it was a bit confusing with the whole backtracking and
What's that sound?
it's not quite backtracking. The player goes in, blah blah blah. So when you return here, you have gone in a loop. You've gone back a different way than the one you came. So you end up in a place that it was before you, but it's not that easy to recognize as somewhere you have been.
Stuck again?
So this drawer is another thing that didn't really work well with a physics-based solution. It used to be driven by the physics system, so it actually didn't stop unless something physically blocked it. But since it moved so fast, it would go straight through the object before detecting that it was there and cause a lot of trouble and making the level unfinishable for a lot of players. And it actually was like that for a couple of days after initial release. So we spent some time and remade it completely using much more controllable animations. Looks just the same, but it's a lot more stable. So this drawer is another thing that didn't really work well with a physics-based solution. It used to be driven by the physics system, so it actually didn't stop unless something physically blocked it. But since it moved so fast, it would go straight through the object before detecting that it was there and cause a lot of trouble and making the level unfinishable for a lot of players. And it actually was like that for a couple of days after initial release. So we spent some time and remade it completely using much more controllable animations. Looks just the same, but it's a lot more stable.
Drawer also works as a red thread throughout the whole chapter, as it's very unorganized and chaotic layout-wise. You're still always following the drawer.
There was one idea where you
Right here we have one of the rooms that is sort of, I think, one of the coolest rooms that no one really probably noticed, because it has so many cool small tricks to it. Like you can go into this little side door and you would actually get on top and look all the way down. And later when you get back, the whole room will have rotated, and not too many people noticed that. Actually, I sure didn't until someone told me the first time I tried it. I think we also had an idea here that you would see yourself if you go to the secret kind of exit. You would look down and see yourself, but that was kind of a bit tricky, I guess.
This was also actually a game mechanic for a puzzle that was used in an earlier iteration.
Like we spent so much time iterating this puzzle, which is sort of like it started out as a perspective puzzle. Now it's not quite that, I guess, or
Not at all.
yeah.
Yeah, this room started out with a perspective-based puzzle that had the player had to get into position in order to see the objects from a specific angle, and then pick up a bottle that was actually way too big, but it looked the right size from the right angle, and it was a really tough idea to convey to the player. So we ended up having to take it out, and we replaced it with a copy of the kitchen from the first level in order to tie these levels better together. And it worked okay in the end, though the perspective room, if we had managed to design it in a way that everyone could understand, or at least to be possible to figure out, I think that would have been a more unique solution to it.
Yeah, it was definitely a hard defeat for us, because the idea is super cool, and this is one of the things that we really learned, that well, this is another example of how a design on paper is just 150% different when you get it into the actual game, and because you'll just see how players that does not have
But yeah, the perspective room, you go through a door and you enter a room, and it's weird because in front of you have this big
Right here we have one. Oh, look here. Now it's different. You get back in the hallway and it looks different now. So many new things. And now you can walk this way. This is actually quite really clever way to sort of present, instead of like boxes in level 1, now we have the freedom to do more weird stuff. So now we actually have the possibility to rotate the room and thereby opening it up to more kind of interesting ways of leading the player.
Yes, so upon opening this door, you topple another bottle, and then as you naturally turn left while walking in through the door, you see the monster. And so this is the second time the monster actually appears physically as a reaction of the bottle breaking.
This is also a fun fact. The last teaser for our game was filmed in this very hallway. That's right, kids. Is there any spot in the game that you kind of look at and like, I wish you could have done that properly or differently?
One that comes to my mind is the areas that we call the heap hallways in level 4, where the scary cope monster is like on top of you most of the time, where you...
Yeah, we wanted the monster here to... wanted the player to feel like the monster could appear anywhere. The monster should be going through closet doors, and every closet door could be a danger. The monster ended up being a lot more standard in its behavior, as it was really hard to make it work well with the whole going in and out of closet doors, and yeah, we had a lot of issues setting this up.
Yeah, it was a very complex place to actually have an AI wander around, because like it's just too many obstacles for it, and like AI is at best extremely dumb. So it's basically, it was hard to get it to work correctly. So with limited kind of where we ended up, it was still cool, but yeah, our dreams were bigger certainly than this. This is also a fun fact. The last teaser for our game was filmed in this very hallway. That's right, kids. It was all real.
I wish we did a better job with everything. Like, everything could have been done better, but like, I think especially level 4 is the one I really wanted to see even better. And I also want.
Right now we go back to hub. It's sort of fall shoot, and this is actually, I guess, where we sort of disregard totally the baby's safety too, because like right here you're on the shelf and you can just fall straight down. It's really not safe for a kid, but at this point we just let them realize that yeah, it's not safe for a kid anyways.
We did though, we did implement fishing or something, right? From if you go to the end of the plant and jump down, there is like a pillow or something soft you can land on.
We got the final memory. Let's hurry.
Yeah, like right now it's sort of, you got everything cool, and you look forward to getting back to hub. I kind of like the fact that for all the other levels we had this, after you picked up the memory piece, it was safe, you know, like there was only safety until the pipe. And for this one, this is the last one since we established the rule that it was kind of safe. And this time we decided to break it with a heart-wrenching cutscene-ish thing.
The story builds up to this very specific point in time where and this was also designed at the time when Teddy was evil, and so to serve as another distraction, and to make the players not think of Teddy being the bad character. But we decided to because it fits really well with the current story, and also this is why Teddy says upon picking up the imagination object, the fourth, he says, "We have the final piece. Let's hurry." Yeah,
Okay, so this is the beginning of the end. So in this area we wanted to make the player feel very alone.
I really enjoy
this area we have always called the forest, which doesn't make much sense now because it doesn't look like a forest
Not
at all.
now.
And the reason why is that at an earlier iteration of this area we had
Not
like
now.
stone pillars looking like just like trees but made out of stone, just huge rocks and these
Not
sort of
now.
like cylinder formations all over the place, and we wanted to make this the most intense part of the game. So this was an earlier iteration where there was a monster chasing you, or at least you had a feeling of that. Just super intense. But as we developed the game and we wanted to focus more on the modern father and the situation house and family. We decided to cater the forest more towards the story and not the scary part. So it's pretty intense and scary what you're working with. The complete darkness. A lot of times you don't know if there's anything dangerous there. The mood is really airy, it's very tense.
None of us want them.
And you just have to move from spotlight to spotlight. And yes, it basically tells it's sort of it's the reveal for the story of the game.
I will find you.
This is the last time we visit the hub in the game, and this time the transition to the hub level is very different from the ones seen in the other levels. You don't go through the fight this time, and this sort of marks the transition from the child piecing things together in his head and sort of understanding more, and for the player it marks the transition from the, and here also since the player don't have Teddy anymore, but we have Teddy's arm, the player can use Teddy's arm to unlock and open the door. And this was also something we did for the feels, like we really wanted it to be sad and to feel like a loss when we don't have Teddy anymore. So this is we wanted Teddy to be the only one to be able to open this door, to make him feel like Teddy helps you and he's powerful. I really like the transition from the hub level to the house, back to the child's room. Just how the screen fades and all the way throughout this level you walk down stairs, and on the way you will see and find many different objects, all of which you have seen during the game and you have interacted with, like the jigsaw pieces from level 3 and the moon and star shaped keys from level 4, the owls from level 2. And this is done to tell the player that they have been...
And 2 months before release, I guess, we just changed the whole thing. And I'm really satisfied with how much clearer the whole thing became overnight, almost. Of course, it's been our first project, so we're all inexperienced, and there's been a lot of not necessarily disagreements, but there's been...
The last thing I hope people that play the game appreciate is that it's the thematics of the game, right? Like the subject that we want to explore, and how fragile children can be, and I hope that is appreciated, because
So in this level we kind of go
Stay away from me! I'm sorry. I never meant to.
We also really wanted the mother to be experienced as she's not evil or just straight up a villain in any sense, but we wanted to portray the side of being a human and how a person dealing with the story was changed, not to something completely different, but we basically just cut
people will
A nifty little detail.
Hi there, little one. Come here. Did you like your gift? What happened to his arm? Don't worry. We'll fix him up.